Live from the Jersey Shore to the world. Get up, get out, do something. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. Take the show wherever you go. Download the free Radio Pup app for your smartphone or tablet. Join the conversation. 732-505-1160. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Listen online at WOBMAM.com.
Good morning and welcome back to Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. I am Phil Brilliant, guest hosting for Jeremy this morning. It is 6:10 on a beautiful morning in downtown Toms River. It is 53 degrees. And please remember, you can join the conversation at 732-505-1160. I apologize to all my listeners. As we went to break, I got a little rattled with Sarah Palin in the window talking about cupcakes, and I kind of got distracted in the lighting in here. So we went to break a little abruptly there. But we're back, and we are back with Jeffrey Gerstenblatt, who is here this morning to talk about the Strand Theater in Lakewood, New Jersey, a beautiful gem at the Jersey Shore. So good morning, Jeffrey.
Good morning. Thank you for having me on.
And as we've already talked about, being up at 5 o'clock in the morning, no problem for you.
Not a problem.
Yeah, I was saying to Zach, and I don't even know how many times now I've done this, but you're my earliest guest. You know, you were here almost at the start of the show, which works out very well. And we can sit here and talk about the beautiful Strand Theater in Lakewood. Yeah. So first, let's talk about you. So you are an attorney in downtown Lakewood?
I am. I'm an attorney in Lakewood. I became a member of the bar in 1988. I opened my office in 1995, and I've been in Lakewood ever since. Okay,
great. And we were talking a little about, we're both Rutgers grads. You decided that 4 years wasn't enough, and you went for the second degree at Rutgers Camden, did you say?
I did. I went to Rutgers School of Law in Camden.
Very good. And now you are active in the community. You are active at the Strand Theater. So always my first question to everybody is, Strand Theater, how'd you choose that to be your community service?
I have always been a patron and a fan of the theater. I thought it was one of, if not the most beautiful theater in all of New Jersey. I'm a big concert goer. I love to go to concerts, and I've been to just about every venue in New Jersey at one time or another, and I always thought the Strand stood out for its beauty and its acoustics. And it's very important to me and to the other people who work at the Strand, both the staff, the people on the board of directors, to keep the theater open and thriving. I think people need a place to go and enjoy music and comedy and theater, and it makes our society a lot better. And I think the arts are very important.
Very, very important to all of us here. And I think it's something that I don't think people take advantage of enough. You know, I think that, you talk a lot about that in the hustle and the bustle. I was kidding. You were here when I was kidding with Kevin Williams about the fact, that Zach challenges me to the 22 push-up challenge for veteran suicide awareness, where you do 22 push-ups a day for 22 days. And I said, I don't have enough time in the day to do 22 push-ups. I think it also goes to the fact that I think a lot of people don't have time or take the time for the theater and the arts.
I think it is, and it just puts you in a better frame of mind. A few months ago, we had Beatlemania, and they were spectacular, did an entire full concert of Beatles music. Everybody walked out of the theater with a giant smile on their face, and I thought, because you can't listen to the Beatles and not, feel good, no matter how bad you feel.
Yeah, it definitely it's uplifting. I think it's an awesome way either to end the day or to, break up the weekend. And I think also, it's a 12-month out of the year. There's always something going on, and it's variety. If you don't like music, you can go for a theater show. If you don't like, rock music, you can go for an orchestra. There's so much variety.
One of the things that we tried to do there is to be very eclectic. We want to honor the music that people love, the classic rock, which I love, which is timeless. We also want to be a venue for local artists. We have a series of shows called Backstage Pass shows, which are a continuing series of shows for artists that maybe can't fill a 1,000-seat theater but deserve to be heard. They're brilliant artists. And we'll set up 100 or 175 seats on the stage. and they will play. We will light the back of the stage. They will play to the audience on the stage with their back to the theater. And it's one of the most unique settings for music that I've ever experienced. And we've had some really spectacular performers there. And they love the theater. They love everyone who performs there. We just sort of wait because they usually, in the middle of their set, will say, "This is the nicest theater I've ever been in."
That's great. Now, in a situation like that, because you just talked about young artists who I know are up at 6:15 in the morning listening to us right now, or at least maybe their parents or grandparents, do you go out and find them? Do they come find you and say, "Hey, I need a venue to really showcase my music"?
You know, it works a lot of different ways. They could certainly contact us. We have an artistic director, Anthony D'Amato, who a lot of people will know as Remember Jones, very popular in the Asbury Park area, a spectacular performer. We also have our executive director, Scott McFadden. You can call him. Fran Whitney, our operations manager, you can call her. But a lot of the shows, these are people who are very seasoned in the independent music community. We've had people like Alejandro Escovedo, Larry Campbell and Teresa Williams from the Levon Helm Band, Jimmy Webb, who's a fantastic songwriter, wrote Phoenix and Wichita Lineman for Glenn Campbell, wrote MacArthur Park. Those are just some of the names that we've had. But yeah, we're open to everybody and to try and help artists along.
So let's talk a little about the Strand Theater itself. Mm-hmm. Its history dates back, a long time before I was on this earth, as well as the fact it's gone through some renovations and some good times and bad times.
It has. It was originally built in 1922. It was restored beautifully. When they did the restoration, it is something that Lakewood and the people who did that restoration got right. It was restored in 1992 to the way it pretty much looks now, but to look as an old movie house or an old theater would look back in the 1920s. It's absolutely exquisite when you walk in.
Yes, it is.
I love to see people walk in for the first time because they're a little stunned by the beauty of it and how spectacular it is. And it is also a historical site. It is recognized by the New Jersey Historical Registry and the United States Historical Registry as a historical site. I could go through some of the list of people who have played there, everybody from George Carlin to Louis C.K. to Taylor Swift, going way back, George Burns, Pearl Bailey. It is mostly theater, but it's part museum when you go.
That is awesome. And I'd like to say, since we are on radio and not on TV, that Jeffrey did that from memory. There are no notes in front of him. There is nothing. He knows the Strand Theater because it really is near and dear to his heart. And as we go to break, please remember you can join the conversation at 732-505-1160. When we come back from the break, we're going to talk about some upcoming events and activities and programs and stars that'll be at the Strand Theater in Lakewood in a moment. We'll be back.
Get more Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin at our website, WOBMAM.com. News Talk Radio, WOBM AM 1160 and 1310.
Good morning and welcome back to Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. It is 6:22, so it is time for all of you to get up, get out, and do something. And speaking about getting up, getting out, and doing something, we are talking to Jeffrey Gerstenblatt, who is here talking about the Strand Theater in beautiful Lakewood, or the beautiful Strand Theater in Lakewood, whichever way you'd like to look at that. I'm sure I'm going to get a couple calls from Lakewood now. And Jeffrey was going through, and I made a comment to say that he has no notes in front of him. All this is from memory, but he rattled off some names very quickly about people who've performed there, and the one that stood out to me was Taylor Swift.
It was quite a few years ago. She was very young and just starting out. Who knew she was going to become Taylor Swift? But she was just about close to breaking then. You knew you were seeing something special. And she promised to come back, but but hasn't. We're going to hold her to that.
You definitely got to reach out to her. I do know we were talking about this. She was on LBI last weekend, surprised a couple who was getting married. The sister reached out to her, and she does a lot of stuff like that, and she does a lot of community stuff. So I bet you if you guys reached out to her, she would come back. She definitely
might be a tough haul, but
it might be a little tough. But we do have some great upcoming artists and events that are happening at the Strand Theater. So why don't we talk a little bit about that? Who's coming up next?
We do. Our next show is going to be Damien Escobar. Damien is a violin player, very, very well known, and he finished third on America's Got Talent. That's going to be on Friday, July 1st. Tickets are available on strand.org. All of our tickets to our shows, if anyone is interested, are available on www.strand.org. If you can't purchase them directly through our website, there's information on how to purchase the tickets. Sometimes a private theater company is putting on the show.
Is there a way? I know some theaters, and you're an attorney by day, so I know the old saying is never ask a question you don't know the answer to. So I'm doing that right now. So I'm breaking the rules, but I'm not an attorney by day. Is there a way? So like if people want tickets, is there like a package, or I know some theater groups sell like you can have a season. Is there anything like that? If
we don't have anything like that now, but oddly enough, that has been discussed, and I believe we are going to be packaging some shows in the future, such as our classic rock shows, so that people at a discount may be able to purchase 3 or 4 shows, as opposed to buying one show, each show separately. So it's something that we've discussed.
As a lover of classic rock, you've had some great classic rock events. You talked a little bit about Beatlemania. You had the tribute to the Eagles. The Eagle Band.
Also a tribute to Prince that we produced ourselves at the theater.
Okay, very good. And then I think I saw something. I did see that the Queen got postponed. I guess it's going to come back sometime.
It did. There was just a scheduling conflict. They played, I guess, earlier this year. Right. Are terrific, and we are definitely going to be rescheduling them.
Yeah, that is great. Those would be events that I think everybody should go out to. But also on July 2nd, you have, it looks like a taping of an album.
We do. Arlen Felis, who's an excellent singer-songwriter who has done backstage shows at the Strand Center for the Arts many times and is a friend of the theater, is going to be recording an album at the Strand. Our artistic director, Anthony D'Amato, Remember Jones, recorded an album earlier in the year. It just came out, and I got my autographed copy.
Oh, very good.
And I've been wearing it out. So it's a really fun experience and a very different experience to go and sit in the audience and watch somebody record the album, and then kind of a thrill to get the album and say, I was at that show. I saw.
You can hear me screaming in the background.
A little bit, but it's very exciting to have that done. So Arlen's going to do that. Arlen is a spectacular singer-songwriter. A lot of his music was featured in the Dallas Buyers Club, the movie The Dallas Buyers Club, and on various television shows and things like that. He's really a great songwriter.
That's awesome. And I guess, again, the Strand Theater in Lakewood, New Jersey, we are talking to Jeffrey Gerstenblatt about upcoming events. When we come back after break, we're going to pick up right there. I want to talk about all the Disney shows that we see coming out this summer. A great opportunity to take your kids out to the Strand Theater. Please remember, again, to join the conversation at 732-505-1160. We'll be back in a moment.
The news is next. Live from the WOBM Newsroom, the Town Square, New Jersey News Network, and Fox News Radio. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Live from the Bob Levy Broadcast Center, overlooking the Toms River. It's time to get up, get out, do something. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. Be a part of the show, 732-505-1160. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Listen online at WOBMAM.com.
Good morning and welcome back to Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. I am Phil Brilliant, guest hosting for Jeremy. It is 6:35. It is 53 degrees, beautiful day in downtown Toms River. The high is 75 today, and we are continuing our conversation with Jeffrey Gerstenblatt here talking the Strand Theater in Lakewood, New Jersey. And as we went to break, we're kind of closing off some of the musical guests we have coming up, but I want to talk a little bit more about those family events you have coming up and those things where the kids can really get introduced to the theater. So what do we have this summer at the Strand?
Well, right now we're in our recital season. Many of the dance schools in Monmouth and Ocean County have their dance recital, end of the year dance recitals at the theater. We do that really in May and June. There are 4 shows this weekend. But over the course of the summer, we're going to have Shrek the Musical. Mm-hmm. And we're going to have The Little Mermaid, and we're going to have Beauty and the Beast. Shrek the Musical, there's a number of shows. It starts on July 15th, and it runs until July 16th, and there's 3 shows. The Little Mermaid is going to run from July 29th to July 31st, and that's Disney's The Little Mermaid. And then Disney's Beauty and the Beast goes from August 5th to August 13th. You can go on our website and check out the times and information about purchasing tickets.
Now the shows that are there, like Shrek and The Little Mermaid, and it shows that I've seen the movies and been part of. I think I saw them on ice with my kids. Now, are these local actors, and this is a local theater group, and everything's run through the Strand, or is this a group that pops in and does a show?
It's Exit 82,
okay,
BCCT. Mm-hmm. The Shrek show is being put on by the Ashley Lauren Foundation Theater Ensemble. I can tell you that the shows are spectacular. Exit 88 did Rock of Ages. It was unbelievable. The BCCT players did Mary Poppins a few months ago or last year, and Mary was flying all over the stage. The sets and the technical people, the performances by the actors. If I was a Broadway scout, I would be coming to these shows and looking for talent. That's how good they are.
So I don't know if you saw, as you started talking, the bell went off in my head when you said Exit 82, and it reminded me that, yes, it is local theater, it is local artists, because I know that the Beauty and the Beast, one of our people who've been on the show here with Jeremy, who's been interviewed, is in that show. Dr. Adam Repol, who is an OBGYN in Ocean County at Community Medical Center, is playing Belle. Is that her name? Am I the right show? Belle from Beauty and the Beast? Belle's dad. So we will be talking a lot about that as we come the upcoming time in August. But that's great. And I think it's also, I can't imagine. I remember being a kid and then I wasn't really very shy, so I did some acting and stuff like that. But that was like on your school stage. To be on the Strand Theater stage as a kid or even a young adult or starting out, that's a great opportunity. It's not like you're just sitting there in the high school gym.
I think that's one of the reasons it's such a popular venue for the dance recitals is because the kids get to dance on this beautiful Broadway caliber stage and theater. I really love to see kids at the theater having their first theater experience, coming to this just wonderful theater and seeing a Broadway type show.
So speaking of wonderful theater, because that was a great lead-in, so the Strand Theater is more than just a stage.
Oh, it is. We have some things that are just so unique to the theater. We've just, in the last few months, 6 months or so, put up a new digital marquee outside the theater. Some people who've driven by the theater will see that. Inside, we've redone our gallery room. We have a banquet room, and we've redone that. We do a lot of after-show parties there. It's always open before our shows. We do separate shows there. We've built a stage. We have a new bar installed there, and the bar is a replica of the bar in the movie The Shining. And we
I get that picture of my head of
yes.
Jack Nichols. Jack Nichols.
And
Nichols
we
plays
also
golf.
display different artists there. We're starting a program where once a month we're displaying a different artist's artwork. So
Oh, great.
the decoration and paintings are always changing in the room. And we've done some standalone shows there. And there is a separate Facebook page called The Gallery, where you can look and see what type of shows we have for the gallery. Lots of poetry, stand-up comedy. We've done music shows, spoken word shows, very intimate and a lot of fun. I hosted a networking party at the gallery, and we did tours of the theater. The theater sort of reminds me in a way of the theater in Birdman. I even had the experience a few times of walking out the wrong door and winding up on the street.
You did.
Unfortunately, I was clothed, not like Michael Keaton in the movie. But I when I saw that scene in Birdman, I really laughed because that has happened to me there.
That's great. And so, of course, and we were kind of talking about this at the break, one of the things we do at the Jeremy Grunin Show as we start getting towards the end of the interview is give you Jeremy's magic wand to use. The fairy dust comes down from the ceiling of the theater. We're in a theater here, the studio, and really give you the opportunity. What would you do with that magic wand to make a difference here at the Jersey Shore, the Strand Theater, anything in your life?
Well, besides everybody visiting the Strand and keeping our schedule eclectic and trying to do stuff for people who love classic rock and classical music and ballet and new artists and all of that, I would like one of my heroes, Bruce Springsteen, to drop by one day and just play.
Oh, that would be awesome. I would like that too. I'd like to, because it'd be a nice, close venue. They probably would close the doors behind and not let anybody else in. Well, that would be awesome.
He'd probably walk out with some in the middle of somebody else's show. That's what he usually does. The Bruce spottings.
Right.
I've always tried a Bruce spotting, and I haven't gotten there yet.
We have to get like Southside Johnny.
Exactly.
Or one of the Backstreet's cover bands or something like that to come do it.
We had Jesse Malin a couple of months ago, and we were like, maybe Bruce will show up. And but that would be fun if he would do that.
And remind me one more time. So if people want to get tickets and want more information, the website is
www.strand.org.
Okay. And how about telephone number to the Strand Theater or tickets? Oh, there's another question I asked that we didn't quickly have the answer to, right?
We do.
And it's right in beautiful downtown Lakewood, and it looks like it's 732-367-7789, and that's the Strand Center for Arts at 400 Clifton Avenue in Lakewood.
Right.
Okay. Jeffrey, I appreciate you getting up early this morning, getting out and doing something with us. It's been a pleasure to interview you about the Strand Theater. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for letting me promote the Strand.
Anytime. And we'll be back in a moment.